If you've ever felt drained around certain people, even when nothing obvious is happening, I want you to just pause for a moment, because what you're feeling is not random. And it's not something you're imagining. There's a reason your energy shifts, depending on who you're around, and it has less to do with what's being said and more to do with what's being felt. Because your mind doesn't just process words, it processes tone, subtle behavior, inconsistencies, and emotional energy all at the same time. And if you're someone who naturally picks up on that, your system is constantly reading people, even when you're not trying to. You walk into a room, and within seconds, you already feel the atmosphere. You already sense the dynamic. You already know if something feels off before anything actually happens. And when you're around certain people, that awareness increases. Not because they're necessarily doing anything wrong on the surface, but because something about their energy doesn't align. There may be tension underneath their words, inconsistency in their behavior, emotions they're not expressing openly, but still carrying, and your system picks up on that automatically, without effort, without explanation. And instead of translating it into clear thoughts right away, your body responds first. You feel it, that heaviness, that subtle pressure, that sense of being drained, even if you can't point to a specific reason why. And that's where it becomes confusing, because logically, nothing bad is happening. But internally, you feel different. You feel tired, disconnected, like something is pulling on your energy without you understanding what it is. And I'm feeling this very strongly. You've probably questioned that. You've told yourself, maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe it's not that serious. But the feeling doesn't go away because it's not coming from your thoughts. It's coming from your awareness, from your ability to detect what's happening beneath the surface. And the more you ignore that, the more intense it feels. Because your system is trying to get your attention. It's trying to show you something, not in words, but in sensation. There's also something else happening here, and it has to do with how energy is exchanged between people. Because every interaction, every conversation, every environment carries a certain emotional frequency. Some people are steady, clear, grounded, and when you're around them, you feel more like yourself. But other people carry tension, unresolved emotions, internal conflict, and even if they're not expressing it directly, it's still there. And when you're someone who picks up on energy easily, you don't just observe that. You absorb parts of it, not intentionally, not consciously, but your awareness opens and your system starts processing what they're carrying. And that creates a shift in you. You go from feeling neutral to feeling heavy, from feeling clear to feeling clouded, from feeling like yourself to feeling slightly off. And that's what drains you. Not the person themselves, but what your system is picking up from them. And I need you to hear this clearly. This doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're aware, you're sensitive to energy in a way that most people aren't consciously tuned into. And that awareness is not a weakness. It's a form of perception. But when you don't understand it, it can feel overwhelming. Because instead of recognizing what's happening, you try to explain it logically. You try to make sense of it through words, when it's actually happening on a deeper level. There's also something here about boundaries, because when you don't recognize what you're picking up on, you stay in environments longer than you should. You stay in conversations that feel off. You continue engaging even when your system is telling you to step back, and that increases the intensity because you're overriding your own signals. And the longer you do that, the more drained you feel, not because you're weak, but because you're not listening to what your awareness is telling you. And I'm feeling this very clearly. You've had moments where you wanted to leave, to pull back, to create distance, but you didn't, because you didn't have a good enough reason, because you didn't want to seem rude, because you didn't fully trust what you were feeling. And that's the pattern that's shifting now, because you don't need a logical explanation to respect your own energy. You don't need proof to step away from something that doesn't feel right. Your awareness is enough. Your initial feeling is enough. There's also something here about how quickly you pick up on people. You don't need a long time to understand someone. You notice small things, changes in tone, micro expressions, energy shifts, and that gives you insight early. But instead of trusting it, you wait, you look for confirmation, you give it more time, hoping the feeling will change. And sometimes it does, but a lot of the time, it doesn't. Because what you felt at the beginning was accurate. You just didn't trust it yet. And the more you start to recognize that, the more things begin to shift. Because you stop overriding yourself. You stop forcing yourself to stay in situations that don't align. You stop questioning every feeling and start observing it instead, not reacting immediately, but also not dismissing it. And that creates space for you to protect your energy, space for you to stay grounded, space for you to move through your environment without absorbing everything around you, because you're not meant to carry other people's energy. You're meant to be aware of it. There's a difference. And once you start to separate those two things, everything becomes easier. You can still understand people without taking on what they're feeling. You can still be present without becoming drained. You can still engage without losing your sense of self. And that's the balance you're stepping into now. Not shutting down your awareness, but learning how to navigate it. Learning when to stay and when to step back, learning when something is aligned and when it's not, and trusting yourself enough to act on that. Because you don't need to explain everything. You don't need to justify every feeling. You just need to recognize what's happening and respond accordingly. And I need you to understand this. The way you feel around people is information. Not something to ignore, not something to push through, but something to pay attention to, because it's showing you what your mind hasn't fully processed yet. And the more you listen to that, the clearer everything becomes. So if you've been feeling drained around certain people, if something hasn't been sitting right, this is your confirmation. You're not imagining it. You're noticing something real. And the more you trust that, the less drained you'll feel, because you'll stop putting yourself in positions that go against what you already know. So just take a breath and notice how you feel right now, because that awareness, that clarity, that subtle understanding, that's where it begins. And it only gets easier from here. If this resonated with you, if it helped you understand something you've been feeling, you can like and subscribe and stay connected to more content like this.